Hello and welcome to the Lens at 177, and as you can see, today we are at an outdoor location, and the location is the Lololo Military Training Center on the outskirts of Lautoka. And today my guest is the commander of the Fiji Military Forces, Major General Jone Kalouniwai, who has invited us to his premises here for this interview. Sir, welcome to the program. Let's speak about your program that is currently underway, the Reconciliation and Restoration Program. Within the military, it's now underway. Why is it important for you to have this program get going now?
The reconciliation program for the RFMF is very critical for us at this particular stage. As I had mentioned earlier in the last few media sessions I had, because of the fact that what transpired back in 2000, 2000 actually fragmented the RFMF. The last thing any military commander would want is have a divided troops, divided military establishment, because anything can happen. It's not healthy. It's not good. So for us, the fact that we have this has happened for 2000 and coming back of 2000, the mutiny happened in 2000. We have had a lot of problems when it comes to seeing the division that has happened within the RFMF. So for us, reconciliation is important. It's trying to reconcile with the past, trying to reconcile with the soldiers that had jumped on the other side, trying to get them back. A soldier is a different person, because once you train him, the skills that is imparted to him is something that will stay with him for a lifetime. And it's important for the RFMF that we reconcile with them, that we get them back into the wider RFMFM. Because once we do that, then the uncertainty, the fear, that level of insecurity within the nation, but more so within the RFMF, becomes a lot more clearer for us in terms of how we see the RFMF being united, forming that cohesion that we need within the RFMF.
So what are the dangers if the military is divided?
Oh, I think we don't need to look very far. Mutiny was something that happened in 2000. You had friends fighting against each other, relatives fighting against each other. We had people dying on both sides. And that's the last thing you would want, because it does not only affect the military, it affects the whole nation as a whole. It has a very huge insecurity that happens within the whole of Fiji. It affects the economy, it affects the investment confidence of those that are trying to invest in Fiji. Schools are shut down. So many things happen. The well-being of the nation becomes very much severely affected. And having a divided military is something that no military commander or no government would want to have in place.
So after 2000, how long did it take for the military to realize that things have to turn around and the military has to become one, going towards 2006, when again a situation arose when the country was taken back?
So the realization was always there. There was always the understanding that we needed to get things together. But the conditions were not right at the time. You had different leadership, you have different way of their way of doing things. 2022 set the right conditions for us to actually start moving into that direction. We set a tone in terms of what we had indicated, that we would honor the rule of law. We would allow the elections to go as it should have gone. I think that provided us with that platform to start looking at how we could actually start in reconciling, getting back the soldiers that had gone on the other side, trying to reconcile with them and make them feel that they are still part of the RFMFM.
Can you give us an undertaking today that the military is 100% united today as we speak?
If I say there's 100%, if you're looking for 100%, then I can't do that, because we're still working on that. We haven't completed our reconciliation phase. We still have a lot to do. But the good thing is that we're moving into that space. It would be good if you would cover the reconciliation process that we had in Lambasa, and just look at how we managed to bring the whole group together again. The emotions that we saw out there, the experiences, the stories that they told, not just them but on our side as well. We all agreed that we were both erred in our responsibilities, not just them on the other side but also us on this side as well.
Let's break down this reconciliation and restoration. Could you explain what is the reconciliation part in this whole process?
Reconciliation part is for us to actually reconcile the whole force together again. Those that had been part of the 2000 mutiny, those that took part in the coup of 2000, is to try and reconcile with them. Reconcile that what had happened, we all agreed it was wrong. We all agreed that we had both committed errors on both sides, and we both agreed to settle things and make things right for us.
Those who took part in the mutiny, will they be part of this reconciliation process?
Definitely. That's the target group for us. We bring them in. For this phase here in Suba, we are focusing on those members of the CRW that actually were part of the mutiny. We've already started with them, the teams, the reconciliation teams. These include the reconciliation team, the trauma healing teams that are going out to them, reaching them as individuals, but also their families. Not just focusing on the soldiers, but their families as well, because those that are most affected are the families. You have wives that were left without husbands for a very long period of time, children that do not see their fathers for a very long time. These are the people that we are actually focusing on as well. It's important for us to reconcile not just within the RFMF, soldier to soldier, but also to their families, which is important. And when it comes to the mutiny, the most affected were those that had their husbands, their fathers killed in that particular time.
Does that mean Captain Shane Stevens will be given an opportunity to come and reconcile?
He's still part of the legal process. We will not touch the legal process. Under law, that's still something that we are looking at those that have come out of that system, the prison, that are out here on CB Street. So we are focusing on them at the moment.
You've spoken about reconciling with the families, the fathers, the children who were affected at the mutiny, but then there is active claims being made that CRW soldiers who took part, they also died at the hands of soldiers who were involved. Is that going to be addressed too?
Definitely. That's one of the major focus areas for us, looking at those that were affected. As I said, their families is very critical for us. We need to reach out to them. We need to seek reconciliation with them. We need to clear a lot of things with them in terms of looking at what happened, trying to provide a lot more clarity for them and bring closure to their families. It's important for us.
Commander, let's talk about the restoration part then. What is involved in this?
Restoration is all about how we could actually restore them back into the RFMF community. The RFMF, as you know, is not just those that are serving soldiers, but we have those that are semi-active, like the territorial forces soldiers that are working here in Lololo. And then you have those that are part of the reserve force. A soldier is always a soldier until he dies. So reintegrating them back into the RFMF, the wider RFMF family, that's important for us. Those are some of the areas that we feel where we can actually try and play a lot in terms of the restoration part when it comes to our active engagement with them.
You have said that the military will take part in the proposed Truth and Reconciliation Commission, but at a time when your program finishes. So when are you looking at finishing this reconciliation and restoration program?
We have identified 2nd of November as the date was. It's actually the date where the meeting actually happened in QEB. So that is a date for us, but it doesn't stop us from continuing with our reconciliation process. But at the same time, we feel that we can run parallel with that of the National Truth and Reconciliation Commission as well.
So is a major program being planned for 2nd November?
Yes, we are working on that. Yeah.
Are you able to tell us about that?
It's bringing everybody together. Those that we have interviewed, we have conducted reconciliation with in Lambasa. to Suva and also those here in Fiji. Again, there are senior officers that are also out there. We are inviting them. We will have a session with the senior officers. So you're looking at the Honorable Prime Minister. You have two former presidents, President Conrote and President Nailetikau. You have members of Parliament out there. They're coming in as officers of the RFMF. They would hang their appointments, political appointments, their civilian appointments outside QEB gate. And when they come in as officers of the RFMF.
The way you explain it to me, I'm already seeing a day that will be filled with emotions. Do you see tears flowing on that day openly?
Well, you should have been in Lambasa. We started with tears and we ended with tears. And the soldiers that were serving there, soldiers who never knew anything about what happened in 2000. Most of them were not born. They never were part of the military back then. But they were in tears. It's a very powerful process, and it's something that can actually heal a lot of old wounds.
Do you expect forgiveness to come from the heart or just from the mouth in terms of what's happening in this process now?
Well, what I saw on that day, forgiveness was actually coming from within, because there was a lot of outpouring. It's very different when somebody is saying it from the lips, rather from someone that is actually feeling a lot of emotions. I had Captain Wasoyado, who couldn't sit down for at least 2 minutes. He was standing up again and walking around and shaking everybody's hands, but at the same time crying. He was very emotional, from day 1 to day 2. Because he said he was never freed when he got freed from prison. He felt that he had this whole burden on him. But when this process happened, when he was called in and when everything happened with the reconciliation, the reconciling with those that were affected at the Sugnabal barracks, he felt very, very free.
If I had to ask you to seek forgiveness from somebody today in Fiji as military commander, who would that person be or persons be?
I think the first one would be those that were affected during the 2000 mutiny. It's important for us, we can get them together, and then again then we're looking at the general public, those that were affected by the actions of the RFMF. But there's a whole lot of people that we need to reconcile with. So it's a very sensitive issue. It's something that a lot of people are asking why some segment of the community is not being approached. My answer to them is that we are focusing internally within the RFMF at the moment. But when this is completed, we'll certainly be reaching out.
And how will you measure the success of this reconciliation and restoration process?
For me, success is measured by how much these individuals are willing to come in and share their story. We started from 8 o'clock in the morning and we had to end at around 3 o'clock because we had to intervene. They were continuously coming in, sharing their stories. You had wives that were coming, you had sons and daughters that were coming just to share their story. Just giving them that time, that amount of space, just to come in and share their stories, being very emotional of what happened to them, how they were treated, how were they affected. You have to hear the stories to really understand how things happen. And it's something that I must say, it was quite sad that we had gone to that extent.
And in this process so far, have you shed a tear with somebody?
Oh, definitely. I shed too many tears in Lambasa. And I'm sure I'll shed more tears here again in Suva. Because these are soldiers that we served with, soldiers that we worked with in Lebanon. We know each other very well. We have very good memories of. Some of them we did officer school together with. We know them very well. We know them, know their families. But bring them together, it provides a lot of comfort, a lot of relief for them and for us, just to know that we're all back together again.
If this process is a success, you will be remembered as the commander who carried this process through. Do you want to be remembered in legacy that Commander Kalouniwai did this and got the military together and those affected by the events related to the military? Do you be remembered by that in history, that you are the person who did it and nobody else could do it? No,
I don't want to take the cake for that. I think it's something that I've been working a lot with a lot of the members within the RFMF, a lot of senior officers within the RFMF who have played a very huge role as well. I just become the face of the RFMF, trying to resonate with this particular process, this narrative that we're trying to share with the public, with those that are out there. I think the last thing that we want to have is to identify who would own the legacy of this. But I think the RFMF is something that is quite unique in terms of the bond that we have amongst each other. So that's important for us. If we can hold that bond together, keep them together, that's more important for us.
Commander Kalouniwai will take a short break and continue the discussion on the other side.